Washington Grown is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Agriculture's Specialty Crop Block Grant Program and the Washington Hospitality Association.
Hi everyone, I'm Christy Goranson and welcome to Washington Grown. It may not look like it, but I am standing in a field of French fries. And eating French fries, of course, is many people's favorite way to consume potatoes. So in this episode, we are celebrating the great French fry. We'll visit Katsu Burger in Seattle, a Japanese deep-fried burger joint that serves award-winning French fries.
I don't know if I hire you.
Then Tomas will jump on the line during potato harvest to find the perfect fried potatoes.
There's your perfect French fry.
Gotcha.
You've probably enjoyed some Washington-grown French fries in your lifetime, but do you know the history behind it all? We'll take a look back to see how potato farming came to be in our state.
It really was wild frontier.
All this and much more today on Washington Grown.
Look
at that! Good job!
Oh, look at those beautiful carrots.
Gotta go fast. Hot diggity.
How good is that one?
いただきます。
We're at Katsu Burger on Capitol Hill in Seattle. Now, there are burgers and fries, and then there are Katsu Burger and fries. This local burger joint has a loyal following for its quirky Japanese take on an American classic.
I think it's a really modern way to use Asian culture into American burgers.
I always say there's something familiar and something different about each of our menu items.
I chatted with Christopher Petter about how Katsu Burger is taking burgers and fries to the next level.
Everything's done katsu style. Everything's tempura battered, Japanese breadcrumb, and deep fried.
The meat is deep fried and the condiments are stacked high.
I don't think it fits in my mouth.
I don't know either.
But it's Katsu Burger's fries that make this restaurant a must-eat spot for Seattleites. Fries are important to the Katsu Burger experience.
Yes, our fries are very unique. I mean, we have 4 different kinds.
There's a sea salt one, a nori one, curry fries, and a salt spice.
You won an award for one of your fries.
Yeah, so last year we were the top 3 fries in Seattle.
Wow.
And then also we got kind of a funny award, top places to eat before you die. Katsu Burger.
That's awesome.
It's an experience, you know. It's kind of a journey through, like I said, something familiar and something different.
Later in the show, I'll be helping Christopher make Katsu Burger's famous fries and a burger to match.
Here we go. I don't know if I hire you.
Today, I'm out in the potato fields of Quincy. Now, like everything we eat, French fries start out on a farm, in a field, and are grown by an expert. I'm visiting Brandon Schaapman to see his potato harvest in action.
So Brandon, you know, when we drive by all these potato fields in Washington and you see this, but this is dead, but it's supposed to be like that, right?
Most plants have a life expectancy in general. So whether you're going to plant some corn in your backyard or anything else, that plant life is only going to be so long and it will die. But as far as potatoes go, you know, our objective is to try and keep them alive as long as possible, because if they're green, they're growing something underneath the hill. But in timing that out as well to dig, we do need to make sure that the vines are dead so that not only the skins can set on the potato, but so that the potato will actually drop off that vine.
Now Brandon, I'm not one to judge, but we got 2 different sizes here. So what's gonna happen to this guy versus this guy?
So the smaller potatoes that are, you know, still going to qualify for us as payment can be used, but they're going to be used for other things such as hash browns or tater tots.
Or they might be mashed up and then put together as a one unit. Okay, I got it.
But essentially the perfect potato, I mean, you want to think about when you go to McDonald's and you look at that box that you hold in your hand, it's only about yay tall, right?
Right.
Well, there's your perfect French fry.
Gotcha, there you go.
The digging machines harvest the potatoes from the ground and load them into a truck. The trucks then head to Brandon's storage facility nearby.
So they made the trip down the road and they're pulling in here to the storage. They're going to get backed up to what we call an even flow.
Even flow.
An even flow. Okay, so the trucks will unload at basically full speed, into this big tub right here. So this tub is going to hold an even amount for us to send across our eliminator, which will pull out the vegetative matter and dirt and such. So it allows us to keep an even flow across the rest of the line.
We head down the line to see where the real work happens.
If it's not a potato, it shouldn't be in there. So you got some dirt clods that you want to get rid of. Right. You'll get some binds here and there. Every now and again, you'll find a golf ball or something crazy like that.
A golf ball?
A golf ball. Yes, I don't know what it is. We have a theory that birds will pick these up and drop them in a field thinking that they're an egg. Right?
The cleaner the potatoes are going into storage, the better the air will flow around them. And once the potatoes are stacked by a mechanical conveyor, they will be kept cool.
This room, this would be our fan room. You have your fans right here that are going to use your air movement. Right here, we have what we call a climacell. It's basically, it's what introduces that moisture to the air. So it's like your old style air conditioning.
Then we head to the top of the shed to take a look at the progress.
All right, so we were just down there. That's getting filled.
Correct.
But on this side...
On this side, we just finished a couple days ago. And as you can see, we're completely full. That's about 21 feet of potatoes stacked on top of each other.
So these are just basically here until the customer needs them, right?
Correct, yes. When the processor calls for them, they will come take them out as they need them, so.
Well, man, you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you
so much
for
producing so many servings of potatoes, man. And that's cool. I'm eating my fair share.
Good.
So
Glad
I
to
really
hear that.
appreciate it. Thanks for the tour.
Yeah, you're
All right.
welcome.
The average American adult will consume over 100 pounds of potatoes every year, so you could probably call the potato the all-American veggie. Which is great news because all varieties of potatoes provide many beneficial nutrients. Most notably, potatoes are rich in carbohydrates, which our brain and red blood cells use exclusively as their energy source. This is why for most adults, it's recommended that 45 to 65% of their total calories every day should come from carbohydrates. Carbs are also the primary source of energy during moderate or intense exercise and are a critical nutrient for athletes. In fact, well-trained athletes can store 2 to 3 times more carbs in their muscle than the average adult, which will improve their endurance and performance. But potatoes provide way more nutrition than just carbs. One medium potato provides about 10% of the daily recommended amount of fiber and more potassium than a banana. They are also a good source of protein because they contain essential amino acids that our body needs in order to build muscle and maintain activity throughout the day. So the next time you're enjoying a delicious Washington-grown potato, you can be assured that you are eating a healthy and nutritious vegetable.
Coming up, I'm in the Katsu kitchen trying my hand at making some of their award-winning French fries.
I don't know if I hire you.
We are back at Katsu Burger, a Japanese deep-fried burger joint where both the menu and the venue are quirky and colorful, making it a go-to spot for Seattleites.
Probably my favorite burger spot ever, yeah.
The burgers are huge and tasty, but the award-winning fries can oftentimes steal the show. Katsu Burger has 4 different flavors of fries and 7 homemade dipping sauces to pair with. I talked with Christopher Petter about how using local potatoes helps his fries win the prize.
Using Washington products, I think it's something important to the owners and myself, as well as our customers, to know that they're not only supporting our business, but other people in our state.
Time to head to the Katsu kitchen to whip up some of their famous fries and a deep-fried burger.
So we have 4 signature fries. We have our nori fries, which are the most popular.
Yeah.
And then we have sea salt, which is pretty plain, but still delicious.
Here.
And then our Japanese curry fries.
Okay.
And then, of course, our 12 spice fries. Got a little bit of sugar, a little bit of heat, kind of sweet and spicy.
And so you're using frozen fries.
Yes.
Frozen Washington-grown potatoes, right?
It's great using Washington products. We kind of consider ourselves to be iconic Seattle, iconic Washington. And what better place to showcase what our state can do than with our French fries.
Cool. We let our fries cook until they are golden brown. And once they're ready to go, it's time to add all those special seasonings.
Sea salt first,
Sea
because
salt?
all of them get sea salt.
Oh, okay.
You need a little bit of salt.
A little bit of salt.
Okay.
Oh, here.
Okay.
I take a shot at seasoning their popular nori fry.
Yes. Here you go. I don't know if I hire you, but
What's the trick?
here, we'll do it together.
Okay, here we go.
Whoa! Go straight out and straight back.
Straight up. Yes!
Okay. That's pretty good.
Awesome. Okay, I'm not hired. I'm
Okay.
actually fired for making a mess out of the kitchen. Christopher takes the lead on the rest of the seasoning. He makes their Japanese curry fry and the 12 spice fry. Now that we have all of our fries, we need something to dip them in. Katsu Burger has 7 different dipping sauces that they make in-house, from wasabi mayo to miso honey mustard. I got to test a few delicious dipping combinations. Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
There's like flavors going every which way.
It just works.
Okay, so we have the fries. Now we need a burger, right?
Well, you gotta have a burger with your French fries.
Time to make a Katsu-style burger.
All our meats are done Katsu style, so it's all tempura battered, Japanese breadcrumbs, and then deep fried.
Deep fried. Christopher has me press the meat to make sure it's evenly coated in crumbs. Then he throws the patty into the deep fryer.
So while the beef's cooking, we're gonna go ahead and toast our bun.
Awesome.
So we actually use a small mom and pop bakery in Kent.
Super fresh.
So that's you gotta have a good bun.
Always important. While our buns are toasting, we start to cook our cage-free egg. Soon it's time to start building our burger. First up, some pickles, then tomatoes and thinly sliced red onions. Next is our deep-fried patty. Then we add some tonkatsu Japanese barbecue sauce, cheese, bacon, our fried egg, cabbage, then topped off with some Japanese mayo. Finally, our Katsu burger is complete. I want to try it.
Okay, you want to try it?
But I'm a little afraid.
Smush it down a little bit and attack.
And attack.
Yeah.
Here we go. Dig it in.
I think she likes it.
I love the crunch of the burger. Holy cow. Let's have some fries.
Cheers.
Cheers. So good. Amazing.
Thank you.
To get the recipe for Katsu Burger's burger and fries, head to wagrown.com. Without irrigation, the Columbia Basin would be a desert. So today I'm meeting with Vicki Charlo, the executive director of the Columbia Basin Development League, to learn more about what the league does and how it got started.
So the organization was started just to be a voice for not only agriculture, but the processors, for all the beneficiaries of irrigation, not only in this region, but in the state, and then nationally. So we continue to do that today, both at the state level and at the federal level.
Vicki said the organization started in 1964, and their main goal is the full development of the Columbia Basin Project.
So originally, Congress authorized just over 1 million acres, like 1,029,000. So we're at about, in football terms, we're at about finishing the 3rd quarter of the game, and we're just starting the 4th quarter. So we have about 700,000 acres of potato fields and other crops throughout the project, but there's still an area east of the section of the project that isn't completed. So the infrastructure is not completed, and farmers are there, but they're still waiting for water. So part of the challenge in the short term for us is those farmers, as they wait, were given permission by the Department of Ecology to dig wells, as they waited for surface water, for the irrigation water. Well, unfortunately, the aquifer that they're drawing water from is diminishing. So we're desperately trying to get them onto the surface water, the irrigation water, so that we can shut off those pumps so they're not pulling water from that aquifer. So that's sort of the short term and long term.
Yeah.
We'd like to see the project finished, but in the short term, let's get these farmers off of the aquifer and then continue to expand the project.
What does the project mean, for the farmers who are waiting for this water? What if they don't get it?
So that's the real core of why we exist, is to really to be the voice for those farmers and for the community around those farmers waiting for surface water, because they may have well water, but they may be dryland farming. So if they're within the confines and the lines of the outline of the Columbia Basin Project, then at some point they should be able to get water. It might not be this generation, it could be the next generation or even the one after that.
If the aquifer is diminished to a point where these farmers can't use that water, then what happens?
If they have things like potatoes or crops that have surface water and they don't get water anymore, then they either, there's nothing here but sagebrush, or they go back to a dry land crop.
So the Columbia Basin project, without it, we would not have this beautiful potato field.
This would be sagebrush.
Coming up, Tomas is on the streets handing out some poutine with a twist.
Would you order that again?
Yeah, I'm gonna go order it right now.
And we'll be in the Second Harvest kitchen cooking up a gooey and delicious dish with some Washington French fries.
Hey, let's go. I absolutely love French fries. And when you go ahead and you put something on top of it, like a gravy or a curry, there's no turning back. Now, my friend here, Sid Sunta from Bread and Circus's food truck here in Seattle, is serving up a pretty mean poutine. Is that correct?
Right, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about it.
So we're doing a lamb curry poutine. So your traditional Canadian poutine is usually gonna be French fries, gravy, cheese curds. So we're doing a little spin on it. So instead of gravy, we're doing a lamb curry, some shishito peppers, and we're gonna do a mozzarella and paneer mix. And people just love it. They think it's a little weird at first if they haven't heard of poutine, or
Right.
you know, they're trying to think, how did you get this car accident of a dish together? But once they take one bite, they're really into it.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, I can't wait to try it. Let's
All
check it
right,
out.
let's do it.
Now, what are some of your favorite ways to enjoy a potato?
Baked, mashed, fried, any which way.
Any way with cheese on it.
I happen to have here a lamb curry poutine. Have you had a poutine before?
No, I have not.
That's a Canadian tradition where you take the fries and you put some gravy on it, but this is a little twist. But now, have you had a lamb curry poutine?
No.
This is your day. All right, why don't you guys take one of those there, give it a shot, and tell me what you think.
Delicious.
Potatoes themselves are what is combining all of it together.
Really tasty, and it goes well with the fries.
Would you order that again?
Yeah, I'm gonna go order it right now.
That's what we like to hear. If you guys get a chance to go check out Bread and Circuses, yeah.
If we don't eat it all.
In all the years we've been talking to potato farmers, we've learned that potato farming is a gamble, and it's been around longer than most. Early Spanish explorers planted potatoes in their gardens near Nia Bay. Even after the Spanish left, members of the nearby Macaw tribe found the potatoes in the overgrown gardens and continued growing them. Chuck Brown is a USDA potato researcher and historian in Prosser. He says potatoes were highly valued among the tribal members.
Anybody that did a lot of labor, and almost everybody at that time had to do a lot of labor, would value potatoes as a source of energy. If you look at the macaw diet, for instance, it was almost all things that you would get from the ocean. So it was animals that they were harvesting. Potato that they grew in gardens and knew how to cook would be a very valuable thing.
In the Skagit Valley, homesteaders from northern Europe were moving to the bogs of this coastal area. The early settlers tackled the wetlands and marshes of northwest Washington with true grit, determined to make the bogs a haven for farming. Both Jerry Nelson and Roger Knutson are descendants of these pioneers.
One of the first things that they had to do here was create drainage and put up the dike so they could farm it. And a lot of that was all done with brute strength and awkwardness.
If it wasn't for the dikes that those old timers put in, every tidal cycle we would have water clear this far up. And so they reclaimed this entire Skagit Valley. They dug ditches and drained the ground was the most important thing so that they could farm it.
Meanwhile, most of the areas of central Washington were sagebrush, grasslands, and desert. By 1900, Congress passed the Reclamation Act, which funded irrigation projects in the Yakima, Wenatchee, and Okanagan valleys. With the irrigation water, farmers started planting new crops, including potatoes. Bob Halverson remembers that planting wasn't easy and harvest was backbreaking.
It was all picked up by hand, put in a sack. You went through and lifted the potatoes, and then the people went through and put those, they had a sack that they had a potato belt. They drug that sack and filled it, and then they stopped it, make another. And then those were picked up by hand and put on the wagon and taken to town.
Irrigation expanded throughout the Columbia Basin with the construction of the Grand Coulee Dam. This opened up a new hope for farmers across the West as water finally hit the central Washington towns in the 1950s. Rella Ryman's father, Hank Thompson, was one of the new Basin farmers.
It really was the wild frontier when we hit the Basin. It was so hard, and you just tackled, you just dove in and started clearing the land and making it work.
With processors and packing plants emerging throughout central Washington, the farmers had to stick to their guns to get a fair price. Nelson Cox remembers the early years in the Basin.
When I was younger, there was 30 or 40 growers right here in this area. Each small farm grew 15 to 50 acres. We had all these different fresh pack facilities so we could go different places fresh. And then we had lots of different processors. It used to be the scare in the shortages of marketing really made it fun when you went to sell. The market could be a boom one day and a bust the next.
And there's so much more to the story. To learn more about the history of potato farming in Washington, visit wagrown.com for a link to their recent documentary film. I'm here with my friend Sean. He is the sous chef at the Blackbird restaurant in Spokane, and we get to hang out in the kitchen at Second Harvest Food Bank. And this is a really cool space that they're letting us use. It's a teaching kitchen for the food bank, and so they bring in people who are patrons of the warehouse who get the food here, and they teach them how to kind of use some of the fresh produce and stuff like that.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. This whole situation is awesome. What's going on?
So what are we gonna do today?
So fries.
Fries. I see them right here, and they smell awesome.
We're gonna do a poutine. Poutine is a Canadian dish, originates from Quebec, and it's typically served with cheese curds on top and a brown gravy. So what I have here is some fries from the Blackbird.
Okay.
We actually cut our own every day.
Awesome.
And
these are frozen.
They are, yes. For the home cooks, you can use a bag of frozen fries, no big deal. You can use whatever you have at home.
So the fries at the Blackbird are super fresh.
Yes.
Because you are cutting them right there. Good old Washington grown potatoes. I love it.
We are. So we're gonna start with just some oil, and we're just gonna get some oil on these fries, and those are gonna go onto a sheet pan. We're just gonna toss them in the oven, 400 degrees. Typically about 10-15 minutes right in there.
And you're right.
Until you get a golden brown.
People at home can use frozen fries from the grocery store.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that. Yeah.
And some salt. And then we'll bake these to perfection. Good to go.
Awesome.
And into the oven.
Once our fries are in the oven, it's time to make gravy. We start making a roux by melting some butter and then adding in flour and milk. So what's the secret to a good gravy?
Well, I think the secret to a good gravy is the consistency. You don't want it too thick, you don't want it too thin. You want the flavors, you want the flavors to be there and spot on. So we're gonna add some seasonings here to this gravy that'll flavor it up. But simplicity, I think simplicity is where it's at. A good gravy to me is salt, pepper, a couple different ingredients, and that's it, So we're gonna add those amazing ribeye steaks to it, and
holy cow!
And I think at that point we'll be well on our way to a good gravy.
Sean adds in granulated garlic and onion, a dash of pepper, and some chicken base. While we wait for the gravy to thicken, we start to prepare the ribeye steak.
So one of these ribeyes, we're going to dice and put in the gravy, and then the other ribeye we're gonna dice and put on top of the poutine when it's done.
Wow.
So we're just gonna dice this up.
Once the ribeye is diced, we start to saute it.
You don't really have to cook it that long because it's gonna go in the gravy and it's gonna end up cooking in the gravy. So as long as we get it cooked through a little bit, and all the seasonings are in the gravy, so we don't need to salt or pepper it.
When the gravy becomes thick and bubbly, we add in our cooked steak.
We basically have like ribeye two ways pretty much here.
Love it.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
And our fries
are done.
Oh, they look beautiful.
So at this point, we're kind of just plating.
Okay.
I'm gonna set these down here.
Before we plate, Sean shows me a chef's trick to make a green onion garnish. He slices them diagonally and puts them in ice water, or they will curl up to make a spiral.
Put them in the ice water.
And then they're gonna curl up.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Then it's time for my favorite part, preparing our plates for a taste test. Load me up.
Ready to plate.
Stuff, that's a good healthy portion of fries.
Some poutine and some gravy. Oh my gosh. And then we'll take some of this. Get a garnish on there. Some of the green onions. And then if you want to throw some cheese on top, that's the finished product right there. Try this out.
Give it a try. A little fry, a little gravy, a little cheese. That is delicious. That's hearty. Those potatoes are great.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to go to the gym after this.
We are. We're gonna go have, do some cardio work. That is delicious. It's so creamy. And those fries are amazing. And that ribeye just adds a nice
meaty texture to it, yeah.
Good stuff. Ready to hit the gym?
Yeah, let's go.
To get the recipe for Sean's Rib Eye Poutine, head over to wagrown.com. So no matter which way you prefer to eat your potato, if it's from Washington, you know it's going to be good. That's it for this episode of Washington Grown. Thanks for watching.